So we go to people's homes, we will set up a little stall, we have a number of educational books, all types of books, and we will sell these books. And what was very interesting is that when we went to different homes, you often found that people would always be talking about education in regards to children, or what is taking place with our children out there in the streets in our community. And this, you would find that these conversations will be very, very lengthy, and in some cases we never really sold many books. We then started to realize, there's definitely a service that's required. And I said, I'm sure there's something that we can do. And I just couldn't get my head around it. And the idea came up, and we thought of strategy, because everything's about strategy. And then we thought about planning. And then we thought to ourselves, well, okay, let's look at school, planning in the schools. I then thought to myself, well, you can pay a teacher to teach, but you can't exactly pay a teacher to care. I'm not saying that teachers don't care, but what I'm actually saying to myself, what I'm actually trying to say here is that you just think about it, a classroom has 30 kids in a classroom. It's very difficult for a teacher to manage a class of 30 children, especially when they're being disruptive and playing up. But what we thought that if we actually go to the home, you got the opportunity to do a lot more, and you got some understanding what takes place within the home, and this is where we can start to bring about solutions. I mean, they say you're either part of the problem or part of the solution.
That's right.
I think we're all part of the problem. All of us are part of the problem in some shape or form, but we all need to be part of the solution as well.
That's right.
Some of us make out we're not part of the problem. There is a problem, and all of us are part of that problem.
Okay then. I mean, so when you work with the parents now, right? I mean, from what you're saying, that obviously certain questions you've got to ask them, right? And then you get them to commit to the program you set for them, yeah. Now the question would be, what are the results you get? After they've done a program, I don't know, what, 4 weeks, 8 weeks?
It's a 6-week program.
6-week program, right? What are the what response you get from the done program, and what are the results are? Just give a little flavour. Yeah.
Well, for example, what you will find is that parents then realise how much work they also have to put in as well.
Okay.
It's one of the things they start to realise. There's a lot of responsibility on the parents too.
So I don't cut you, but the parents have to go for a program as well, yeah?
Well, in fact, the home plan, the parents have to actually go through the program as well.
Okay.
Because in all honesty, if you have a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, I could basically come there and say to this 10-year-old, make sure you brush your teeth first thing in the morning. Now, you do need an adult around as well to make sure that these things are actually carried out, and they need the support as well.
Okay then.
You also find that sometimes parents are tired, they've come in from work, or they have other issues and problems that are taking place in their lives as well, and they also need that support. But one of the things I would say in terms of developments, that the home plan, parents start to realise that there are ways of supporting their children. There's a lot more they can do, because often they tend to feel to themselves, well, I can't do anything, I've totally given up. But what we do, we set objectives and targets. The goals that we actually set, we make sure those goals are attainable. This is why the home plan is individualized. We don't expect change to take place straight away. It's a slow process. And it gets better and it gets better. We even have a point system. The child is rewarded. For instance, if we say part of the home plan, maybe for instance, make sure you brush your teeth in the morning. Make sure you pack your bag before you go to school, the evening before, not wait until the morning. And little things like this, make sure you tidy your shoes. We give them small little tasks to carry out. Now when they carry these tasks out, there are ways of rewarding them as well. And that makes a difference. And one thing about young people, what you find, young people respond to praise, not condemnation. If you keep condemning a child, it doesn't work. And sometimes out of frustration and anger and anxiety, you find parents could sometimes saying, you keep on doing this, I'm sick and tired of you, and all the rest of it, and that doesn't work. But you do see the developments, but what is most important is consistency.
Right.
Often you will find that parents are so happy when they start to see these changes. But what I then say to them, you are seeing positive changes take place, but please don't lay off now and think that there's no longer a problem. It's consistency. We have created a structure within the home, and that structure, don't just see it as a 6-week plan. You need to see it as a life plan.
Lifetime plan, of course.
Okay? And it's very, very important. But it's amazing, you know, what positivity, praise does. You see young people change, and it's absolutely amazing. It's very rewarding.
In fact, I watched TV the other day. It's something to do with sex or whatever, right? But what is right?
You're not going to ask me questions about sex.
No.
Okay.
What is interesting that the mother had an issue with the daughter, right? Because she was only 14 and she was, you know, having so many boyfriends at that age and just doing kind of crazy things, right? So they had to see this this sex expert counselor, whatever.
Sex therapist.
Yeah,
okay.
Therapist, right? Right. So I just watched it by chance, yeah. But what's interesting that they sent my homework, right? And they said to the mother, you know, I want you to discuss how many partners you've had for the last so many years, right? And asked the daughter discuss, right, how many partners she had as well, you know what I mean, right? And then when the mother discussed how many partners she had with the daughter for the last 10 years, something about like 2 or 3, you know what I mean? The little girl had so many, right? And when the mother asks her, obviously the mother was in one big relationship, and obviously when it broke down, it went quite sad, yeah. So with her daughter now, right? The reason why she has so many partners, right? She didn't want to be committed because she wouldn't go for the same hurt what her mother went through. You see, and it's quite interesting because it's only then it was a breakthrough, right? And you could see why she was going through it. But the point I'm trying to make is that as you work together as mother and daughter, it was able to solve the issue. I've come to look at the issue.
I mean, that's the interesting thing as well. We often come across situations where children lack confidence. When a child lacks self-esteem, it can create lots of problems. They may not exactly say to you, well, I have this problem, I'm not feeling too good about myself. The majority of children will display this by doing various things. You know, they will start to be disruptive in class, they will misbehave, they will find themselves in trouble, they will, you know, rebel, they become very rebellious and do many of things that we know is not the way forward. But at the end of the day, what is very important, we need to inject, I would say, go as far as saying inject confidence into young people. And one of the best ways of injecting confidence into a young person, like I said earlier, is to praise that young person.
Okay.
Set them tasks that they can actually achieve. Do not set them tasks that are unattainable. And you will find gradually it will help them to build their confidence. Because that's what I'm hearing here. Sometimes children are crying out for love. They need love.
Yeah, it's true.
They need support. And if they're not getting that love and support, this is what can happen. Now, let's not start parent bashing, because we have some very good parents who are still victims of this very thing. And we often turn around and say, well, it's appearance, it's appearance, it's appearance. It's very, very deep. It's a very complex society that we are living in. You look, for instance, at game consoles and all sorts of things that young people are playing with. They're very